Welcome everybody, it's Taormino here, and today's a great day because I've just finished a WWE pay-per-view Money in the Bank, and I've got my wrestling recap for you. So don't worry, you don't have to watch it. You can catch all your wrestling news right here in regards to recapping the pay-per-views. But I want to get off in speaking of the kickoff match. I don't know about you guys, but I was hyped for this kickoff show match. We had Mojo Rawley teaming up with who? Zack Ryder. Are you excited? I wasn't, but I mean, the Hype Bros are back. They're gonna attempt to give something to Mojo Rawley. He's been clamoring it all over the place, wanting something to happen. They gave him the Andre the Giant Battle Memorial Battle Royal Champion, the statue. Then he's not doing anything with it. We gotta give him a match. You wanna be in the Money in the Bank ladder match? Well, you're gonna be Jinder Mahal. Tough Knuckles. So whatever. They're here fighting the Colons. Does anyone care about Primo and Epico? I don't. But either way, the Colons come in with typical heel type moves here. Nothing really special out of this match other than Zack Ryder and Mojo Rawley are both wearing like the same like type of trunks, like they're matching. Like they totally were like, yo bro, you want to wear the same color tights? Yeah bro, let's wear the same color tights and elbow pads. Sweet, we're gonna beat the Hype Bros again. So they came out and they won with a finisher, like a mid rope. Mojo was holding one of the Colognes up, and Ryder gave him like an elbow or a clothesline, nothing crazy. The winners of this match are the Hype Bros. At the end of the match, I was not hype, so I'll give this match a grade 2 out of 5. Next, we kick off the actual Money in the Bank pay-per-view with the first ever Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. I don't know about you guys, but I'm super excited about this. This is like groundbreaking. You know, it's not like, oh, women power, but I mean, like, there are tons of women wrestlers in the WWE and around the world that I don't feel like get as much credit because they're female wrestlers, and they think that, well, since you're hot, you can't wrestle as great, as better as other wrestlers. Well, that's wrong. So we start this match out with a really cool introduction following the Women's Championship, starting from Fabulous Maymula to who else did we get? We got tons of other Alundra Blaze. We got tons of people showing up in this introduction, building up the hype for this first ever Money in the Bank ladder match for the contract for the Women's Championship. So we have all the females come out, and that stupid James Ellsworth is still there, following Carmella. So in this match, there's a heavy back and forth. At first, when the match first started, all the ladies left the ring except for Tamina, and Tamina was just like looking around. And then, like, as one would come in, Tamina would just smash that one. Then someone else would come in. Tamina just smashed them. It was a typical beginning of a match with multiple wrestlers, where the most dominant and the most powerful kind of has like a big spot in the beginning of the match where they show off their power, like, oh my goodness, they're so dominant. And then eventually they kind of had to like team up to take down this powerhouse that they can't do on their own. Eventually that happens when Natalya and Becky Lynch grab both sides of a ladder, and they're kind of like fighting to struggle, like who's going to get it first. They end up knocking over Tamina with it too, and they struggle for it. There's a couple really cool spots in the match. There was a spot where Natalya ended up giving a backdrop to Becky Lynch on a closed ladder on the mat, and that looked really painful. It looked like it was like their first introduction to being slammed into a ladder. And then there was a couple other spots where they got thrown into the ladder in the corner and things of that nature. I want to spend a lot of my time talking about the main event match, but this match, I kind of like it for its shock value for its ending. This was the least person I expected to win the match, but the winner of this match is Carmella. Now, the way that this happened was, at the end of it all, Carmella was climbing the ladder. Nobody else was around. Becky Lynch ends up catching her halfway up on the ladder and then gives her a powerbomb, slams her really hard on the mat. She throws her elbows back. I'm surprised she didn't break her arms there. She really needs to make sure her arms are tucked in a little bit more and slam them at the appropriate time. She did it too early. Anyway, then Becky Lynch starts climbing up the ladder. She's climbing for the Money in the Bank briefcase, and then James Ellsworth comes in and looks at her. She looks at him, and then he slowly starts tipping up the ladder. and then she falls out of the ring, and all of a sudden he looks at Carmella checking to see if she's okay. He's like, come on, you gotta get up the ladder, you gotta get up the ladder. And then he sits there, and he looks up, and he's like, fuck it. He climbs the ladder, and he grabs the Money in the Bank briefcase, detaches it, and then drops it to Carmella on the ground. And she just sit there. And then the refs start arguing outside the ring. They're like, you can't do that. And then some people are like, well, it doesn't really matter. She's the first one to get possession of the briefcase. They're like, no, she's got to be the one who climbs to get the briefcase. This is what I love, the back and forth. Like, what is really going to happen? Then he just grabs a microphone and he just announces that she wins the match. And then she walks away with the briefcase. So then you get a live tweet from Daniel Bryan saying this is going to be the first thing addressed on SmackDown Live. Shane McMahon said that the entire WWE Universe was robbed out of the match, which I agree. I wish one of those women walked away with a clean victory out of this without any kind of like cheating mumbo jumbo. Knowing it's a non-DQ match, you understand what I'm saying. So I'm upset with that part, but I do like the shock value of what is going to happen. Does Carmella actually get to keep it? Or are they going to do another rematch? Or what? Like, what's going to happen? So at the end of that match, the winner is Carmella. I would grade that 4 out of 5. It was a great match. It was a great first match for these women. They held their own. It was really, really cool to see them in there. I didn't even get to mention Charlotte. Charlotte had so many spots. She had so many spots where she was killing it. I really think Charlotte was going to win this match. She was my prediction, but I was wrong. So I'll zip it. It was just great by all the women involved, except for James Ellsworth. I don't like him. Next, we have a tag team championship match between the New Day and the Oos. Sorry, I didn't have anyone else to finish it. So this match was a good back and forth. I should say the New Day, it was Big E and Kofi. How do they figure out who's going to wrestle in these tag team championship matches? They do rock, paper, scissors in the back? I don't know. Tic-tac-toe? What do they do? Whatever. Who can eat the most bootios? Alright, so there's a couple really cool spots in this match, but it all happened towards the end. In the beginning of the match, Kofi was getting dominated on by both Usos, building up the momentum that as soon as Big E would get tagged in, Big E would then clean house, and then it would kind of be like throw it up in the air as to how they wanted to twist the end of the match. So it started off with Kofi kind of getting stomped on. Eventually, Big E came in the ring, he tagged him in. He started to clear house, but then he started getting swamped on it. It seemed like both of these teams were very excited to wrestle one another. Eventually, towards the end of the match, they started breaking down, actually executing their spots. There's a couple mess ups. It started to look really sloppy towards the end. To me, it just looked like they were both excited and they really liked wrestling with one another. They were just not timing their moves properly and making sure that their feet weren't planted properly when evading moves. Look, it's not easy, and I'm certainly not any better than any of those guys there. I'm just saying this is what I'm observing. So eventually, Big E got tagged in. I think it was Jimmy. I always get them confused. Jimmy ended up super kicking Kofi Kingston. Kofi was laying in the spot. Jimmy went to go give him a splash. Big E jumped, slid in the ring at the last second to try to catch him in that Dominator move that he gives him, the one where he lays him flat. I forget what the move's called. But Jimmy, just his momentum just kept going, and he ended up falling onto his back. And then Big E continued to try to oh, well, you fell down. I'm going to try to lift you up. And he kind of struggled a little bit, and then he eventually got him up. Then he gave him his move. That was one of the messed up spots. I'm going to put a couple other messed up spots in the video. I don't know what side the video is going to go on. I don't know, on one of these sides. But eventually, they hit the midnight hour. But Jimmy pulled Jay out of the ring when they went for the pin attempt. There was a huge amount of slightly botched spots towards the end of this match, like I just mentioned earlier. Like I said, it looked like a bunch of people. They were really, really excited to wrestle one another. Eventually, the Usos just said, just forget it. They went and they grabbed their belts, and they just walked. They're just like, nah, we're going to leave the arena. We're done. So the Usos lose by 10 count in this match. The New Day wins, but the Usos keep their title because you can't pass a title on a disqualification or on a 10 count. So at the end of all of this, they're still keeping the belts on the Usos because they're still building them up. The Usos are an amazing tag team. The New Day is just starting on SmackDown Live, so they certainly don't want to kill the New Day's momentum. So they want to make them look hot coming out of this. So it's the best way for both teams not to lose any momentum or any type of traction from the crowd. So the winners are New Day. They don't win the belts. Usos are the losers. They walk away with the belts. I give that a grade 3 on a match. It was pretty good. But like I said, they started getting a little too excited and started botching a lot of moves at the end. Thank God none of them got injured through it. Next, we have the Women's Championship match, Naomi versus Lana. All right, let me just stop right here, all right? I don't know about you guys, but when Naomi comes out, it is so hard for me not just to fist pump, like constantly, boo, 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 boo. I just can't stop it. Like her entrance is so infectious. I love it. But Lana came out, so the crowd went crazy for Naomi, as they always do. Naomi's an amazing wrestler. I'm glad she's finally getting credit for it. So Lana comes out, and Lana, when she first debuted 2 weeks ago and wanted in on the Money in the Bank ladder match, the crowd popped huge for Lana. When she came out tonight, they were dead. They were dead as a doornail. They didn't even make a peep when she came out. So typically, when this match started, the announcing team was like, "Oh, well, I'm shocked Lana's in this match with Naomi. Like, Naomi's got her, like, I'm just shocked. I'm shocked." They continually, throughout the entire match, was like, "Oh, I'm surprised Naomi didn't beat Lana within, like, 2 minutes. And I'm surprised Lana's still in this thing. I'm surprised Lana's actually able to give some moves." Like, please, like, stop, like, forcing hype. Like, I get it. Like, she's new. She's not, like, it's not like she was coming in as a jobber here. Like, let's go. So, in this match, quickly, Lana was able to, like, first Naomi started kind of just like swamping on Lana. Like, it was like she wasn't even really, like, taking the match seriously is how it was supposed to look. Eventually Lana tweaked Naomi's leg, so they're going to keep running with this injury. And she continued to focus on it throughout the match. Lana was very slow. I like Lana. I love her as a character. She clearly still has to get more work done in the ring. She was not at the literal speed that Naomi could go. So when you're watching this match, Naomi, it is very apparent that Naomi is slowing down so that Lana can keep up with her, even though Lana was on the offense probably about 80% of the match. Lana was giving a lot of moves to her, a lot of whips, a lot of like hair pulls, a lot of different leg type movers. She ended up giving that weird, she wraps the arm behind Naomi's back, and then she kind of pulls her up so Naomi wraps her legs around her waist, and then she gives her like a sit down spine buster, like on her arm. I guess that's her finisher. She gave that to her, and then Carmella came out with the Money in the Bank like briefcase and went all the way to the timekeeper. It was about to hand it over, and then was like, I don't know. And then so Lana went to go pin Naomi. Naomi kicked out, and then she went for a second finisher while like Carmella was still out there like taunting. Naomi flipped her over and a sunset flip pulled her into a submission where she wrapped both arms behind her and got her to tap. So I mean, it still makes Lana look good because she was in there with the champion, with the women's champion. Carmella was out there and teased a little bit, like, "Hey, you never know when I'm going to come out and drop this thing." So I guess it's going to sit with her. I don't know. We'll see how SmackDown Live goes. But the winner of this match is Naomi. I would give this match a grade 2. It's certainly not for the skill of Naomi or the attempt of Lana. I just think that Lana just needs to build a little bit more. I expected her to come in and surprise me a little bit, and maybe that was my problem. But she didn't come in with anything special, and I felt like she was maybe a par lower than what she should have been. So that's why I give this match a 2. Next, we have 2 weird segments. So we have the Fashion Police, which now they're doing like a Vice City, Miami vibe, like type kind of a 80s thing, I guess now. Because before they're like, we're just going to be silly, and it's kind of reference it. Now it's almost like all reference, which is fine. So they're like, we got this VHS tape. It says, watch this on it. They put it into shadowy figures like, "You want to know who's messing with us? Messing with you, you got to meet us in the ring tonight." And we're like, and they're like, oh, it looks like we're going to have to meet him in the ring tonight. And then that was it. They're kind of like a Zoolander type kind of feel, too. It's good. Like, the skits are funny. It's fine. Better than Saturday Night Live, in my opinion. And then all of a sudden, all of a sudden I expected, like, the match to start, right? Like, I expected them to jump into the match. Then all of a sudden this music hit. The music was kind of cool. But Mike and Maria Kanellis showed up. Maria Kanellis shows up. Not with a microphone. She has, like, this stupid ear mic that's coming out. She's got to hold it closer to her face because it's not getting too close. She holds up, like, I guess her husband's hand? Or this guy, Mike. And they're like, oh. And she's like, after 7 years, I'm finally back to the WWE. And the characters are acting, like, super googly-eyed to one another, like, putting their heads close to each other, like, oh, I love you so much, baby. And they they are apparently going to educate everybody on SmackDown Live about the power of love. And then they danced together to the theme song, and then that was it. It was just kind of odd. The music was kind of cool, I guess. But they're going to teach us about the power of love, guys. So if you don't know the power of love, start taking notes. Next, we have the WWE Championship match. The reigning, defending Jinder Mahal, the modern-day Maharaja, is defending his championship against Orton. Now, the whole play of this match was, is he a paper champion? Is he going to be able to retain his championship? You know, more than a month? Blah, 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 blah. They ended up announcing a bunch of legendary wrestlers up in, like, the front, like, row of the match. We had Mr. Perfect's father. We had Ric Flair. We had Cowboy Bob Orton, as well as a handful of others. Harley Race couldn't make it because he's still feeling sick, so hope you feel better, Harley Race. Sergeant Slaughter. There's a bunch more I'm forgetting. The Axe. Alright, so we get into the match. By the way, can I say Jinder Mahal's entrance has gotten so much better since he won the belt? The night when he was challenging Randy Orton for the belt, he came out and they had Papyrus font on his Titantron name. Papyrus. Are you kidding me? Now he comes out and it looks great, which is cool. Like, I'm glad the progression of the wrestler Jinder Mahal, because I remember when he was in a 3-man band, and I remember when he got, like, let go because he wasn't that good. And I was sitting there and I'm watching 3-man band, although he wasn't wrestling well back then. But I'm looking at this guy, I was like, this guy would be a great heel. Why aren't you doing anything with him? Cut to now they're doing a good job with him and they're making him a heel. Anyway, so the match goes on. Randy Orton, like, right out the start of the match, Randy Orton tries to give an RKO to Jinder Mahal. He pushes him away. He tried to end it fast, but he couldn't. Eventually, Jinder Mahal, like, dumps Randy Orton outside the ring. He tweaks his leg, Randy Orton does, and Jinder Mahal continues to go after that leg. He actually gives Randy Orton, after he looks at the legends, he gives him a figure 4 leg lock. He gives him a figure 4. Barely poorly executed, but he's still locked on a figure 4 on Randy Orton, which was funny. A little bit of a back and forth. It kind of looked like Jinder Mahal had Randy Orton's number. Randy Orton was favoring his leg a lot throughout the match. Eventually, Randy Orton was able to land the RKO. Well, the in-ring rope DDT that he gives him leading up to the RKO. So he landed the RKO. He was close to the ropes. One of the Singh brothers grabbed Jinder Mahal's leg and put it on the rope. And the ref saw it. And he got up, and then Randy Orton basically was like, don't DQ Jinder Mahal. I want this match. I want this match. Just throw him out of the match. So then he's like, you guys are out of there. So he throws them out of the match. And then they're like flipping out. It's kind of unbuttoned on their shirt. They're flipping out. So then as they start to leave, they start looking at like the legends, and they come back. And they start talking trash to the legend. Ends up grabbing Bob Orton by the shirt. The other one puts his fist up against his chin like, oh, I'm going to punch you. I'm going to punch you in the jaw. And then Randy Orton just wails on him and completely beats the holy heck out of the Singh brothers like at the Backlash pay-per-view. Ends up just like flipping and dumping one through a table. Ended up RKOing one on the mat outside the ring. he ended up pulling part of the announcing team tables off, and then he ran because the other Singh brother was on because there's 3 announce tables now, right? You have the English one, you got the Spanish, and I think these are the German ones over here. So he was on the English announce table, and then the other Singh brother was on like the Germans one. I apologize if I'm getting them swapped, but he does the typical meme like Randy Orton RKO out of nowhere. He runs and he dives and he gives him an RKO through the table, like it's the meme and stuff. It was so funny. So he puts him through the table. That guy's out. So he slides back in the ring, and then he goes. He runs in the ring, and then Jinder Mahal kicks him in the gut, pulls him around. I forget the finisher's move. It's like a back Cobra clutch choke slam type, kind of it's like a back slam. He gives him his finisher essentially and gets the 3 count and wins. So right now Jinder Mahal is still your reigning defending WWE champion. So how do you like them nuggets, huh? Oh, and I give that match a grade 3, 3.5. I would say 3.5 out of 5. It was okay. It was fun to watch Randy Orton beating up on the Singh brothers. That was the best action out of the match. I just don't think that Randy Orton and Jinder Mahal flow properly together in the ring. I would like to see somebody else with Jinder Mahal, which I'm glad he's still the champion. To see him mix it up with somebody else. Maybe whoever wins the Money in the Bank Championship match at the end of this video. Who knows? I'm about to tell you in a little bit. But I'd like to see Jinder Mahal with someone else to see if they can bring out some other skill out of Mahal that we're not seeing from Orton. So 3 out of 5 on that match. Next, we have a tag match between Breezango and the mysterious figures that keep messing with Breezango and sending them weird VHS tapes. The Ascension. I know. They already said that they investigated them and then it wasn't them, but it's really them. This match wasn't comical. There was nothing really special about it. The match really seemed like it was thrown together, like as filler. I guess they didn't want to give a full hour to the final Money in the Bank match, so they gave it as filler, I guess, as a backup. And Fandango won with a schoolboy roll-up. It was about a 10-minute match. It felt a lot shorter than that. I give that grade a grade 2 out of 5. Breezango were the winners. The match felt rushed and thrown together. There wasn't too much story behind it. There wasn't much momentum. There weren't any shock moments. And it felt lackluster compared to everything else that was going on. So I'd give it a 2 out of 5. Now we get to the main event of the Money in the Bank ladder match pay-per-view, which is the Money in the Bank ladder match for the WWE contract, WWE Championship contract. It's too much to say, okay? It's too much. Let me read it. Money in the Bank for WWE World Heavyweight Championship contract. There. All right? You have AJ Styles, Dolph Ziggler, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Nakamura. Oh, wait. Nakamura started coming out, and in the middle of his entrance, he started doing that dab little thing. And then Corbin comes out of nowhere, because this is this guy's shtick now. He starts beating people up from behind. Continues to beat Nakamura up like there's no tomorrow. Grabs the ladders on the entrance, beats him with that. Grabs a cameraman's, like, legit, like, camera. And then beats Nakamura with it. And then comes in. I'm a little upset. I like Corbin's entrance. I like it when all the disgusting... like motorcycle smoke like covers his entire entrance. But either way, Corbin comes in the match. The referees are like, well, what are you going to do? And they're like, do you want to just start the match with 5 people? And they're like, sure, whatever. Mike Chiodo's like, sure, whatever. Let's just start the match with 5 people. So they go and they start the match with 5 people. So right now you have AJ Styles, Dolph Ziggler, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and Baron Corbin. Nakamura is out. So with that, fairly early in the beginning of the match, Dolph Ziggler was acting like the veteran that he was in these types of matches, and started kind of directing Baron Corbin around, and like they both kind of grabbed the ladder together, and then they both slammed into AJ with it outside the ring, and he's like, all right, now go over there, and as like Corbin kind of like turned around for a second, he sucker punched Ziggler, like knocking him out, and then like he turned around and then got super kicked by Ziggler, which was kind of funny. I'm gonna try to talk about this a little bit, but I'm telling you, there were so many spots in this match that are just like, if I cover every single like amazing spot in this match, I would be here for another 20 minutes. Like you might as well just watch the match at that point. But there was clearly no alliances in this match. It wasn't like last week's pay-per-view at Extreme Rules where you saw, Samoa Joe and Bray Wyatt kind of team up for a long period of time. Out here, they were just fighting everybody which way possible. For example, Corbin gave Ziggler the deep six from the apron. So Ziggler was running at him, and he grabbed him in air, spun around, and slammed him outside the ring, which had to have hurt. Owens climbed to the top rope. It was going to jump on 3 people, and Sami Zayn slid into the ring and then tossed him off the top rope. But there was like an open ladder, so he landed on like the open part of the ladder, and it like bent all crazy, and that looked like it hurt like a lot. Like, to be honest with you, Owens took a huge amount of bumps in this match. It was crazy. He was really good in this match. Everybody was great in this match. So it completely bent the ladder. Sammy was all alone in the ring. He grabbed a ladder, but Ziggler clocked him from behind and ran him into a ladder in the corner. I'm going to read some of my notes because this was so much craziness going on. So then Ziggler started to climb. Corbin interrupted him. AJ and Corbin continued to fight on top of the ladder. Then Ziggler started climbing, literally like a spider monkey, over Corbin on the ladder. Like, it was like Corbin was like halfway up the ladder. Ziggler was like, "Nope, excuse me, I'm climbing up your back. I'm standing on your shoulders now," which was kind of cool. And then so you had Sammy and Ziggler doing the punch back and forth on the very tippy top of the ladder. And this was the scariest part of the match. Sami Zayn ended up knocking Ziggler. Ziggler folds over on top of the ladder. Sami Zayn starts looking around, and everyone starts screaming because everyone knows what he's going to do, and we're all afraid of what's going to happen. Sami Zayn ends up giving Dolph Ziggler a sunset flip from the top of the ladder down to the mat. At one point, I actually thought he broke his leg. I thought Sami Zayn broke his leg because the way that he landed, Ziggler kind of landed on his leg, and his leg was like weird and like cocked. It just looked like he broke his leg. He didn't, though, or at least not to my knowledge. He finished out the match, so that was super scary watching him come all the way down like that, especially so close to the ropes and everything. That was just so bad. Sammy then eventually he went and kind of like Kevin Owens kind of like pulled him out and was going to give him the power bomb like on the apron of the ring. Sami Zayn gave Kevin Owens like an exploding suplex, like a back suplex, where like normally they kind of like fall on their shoulder and their head and like not properly flat on their back. He did it on the apron. Flew in because so he gives Owens the backdrop, slides in the ring, starts climbing the ladder. AJ then jumps off the top rope and gives Sami Zayn a phenomenal forearm as he's mid ladder, and then knocks him off, which is really, really cool. I'm gonna say really, really cool a lot because I really love this match. It was clearly the best match that I've seen in probably a very long time. So Corbin started setting up a ladder between the steel stairs and one of the announcing tables, and was trying to throw AJ through it. AJ ended up like running at Corbin along the apron of the ring, but Corbin still caught him and gave him like a choke slam like onto the ladder. So that kind of took AJ out for a little bit. He slammed it through the ladder. Then Sammy gave Corbin a hell of a kick and slowly climbed. When Ziggler was trying to yank him off, and then Sami Zayn was able to kick Ziggler off. Then Owens came back in the ring and tried to do the same. He ended up pulling Sami Zayn off, and then he gave him a low blow, just kicked him right in the crotch. And then AJ ends up coming in, and Owens tries to throw AJ out of the outside of the ring, and then clocks him with an elbow, and then he goes outside the ring because he's gonna powerbomb AJ Styles through that same ladder that AJ Styles already got chokeslammed on, right? AJ ends up reversing it, puts Kevin Owens on his shoulders and then gives him a fireman's carry, which is essentially like the FU I still call her, or the attitude adjustment from John Cena. He just gave him a fireman's carry, and he gave it to him right on that ladder. So from the ring apron, he gave him that attitude adjustment, that fireman's carry onto that ladder outside the ring. Like I'm saying, Owens took hella bumps tonight. So that pretty much took Owens out for the rest of the match. Then after that, so he got slammed through the ladder. Then AJ Styles started to climb the ladder. He was all alone in the ring. He grabs the briefcase, and as he grabs the briefcase, Ziggler just pulls the ladder out from under him, and all of a sudden, he's hanging from the, like, shades of Jeff Hardy here. Like, he's hanging from the rope, and he's trying to climb the rope, and he's trying to figure out, like, what am I supposed to do? I can climb higher, or do I just drop? So AJ eventually falls from, like, the length of where the briefcase was, just onto the mat, like, just crazy. He landed that hard. So then after AJ fell from that place, Ziggler got pulled out of the ring by Corbin, and all of a sudden then Nakamura's music hit, and then the crowd went crazy. I'm sorry this match is taking so long. It's like 10 minutes to describe it. Try to make this quick. Nakamura came in the match. Clean house. Corbin. Finisher. Then who'd he give? Sami Zayn. Finisher. Then he tried to pull a ladder in from the outside of the ring. Kevin Owens was holding on to it, trying to make sure that he didn't get the ladder in the ring. Finisher. Then all of a sudden, the crowd is still singing his entrance song, even when the music stopped. Then all of a sudden, he's about to climb the ladder. And then all of a sudden, AJ's on the other side of the ladder. They meet each other's gaze. They look at each other, and then they both pick the ladder up and they move it to the side of the ring, and then they walk in the middle of the ring. They're like, all right, we're not going to rush up to this. We're not going to try to cheat. We're going to fight each other for it. So, man, they just started going back and forth, blows and blows and blows. And eventually, Nakamura put him in a sleeping hold. And then give him, let's see, he put him in a sleeping hold. Yeah, that's what I thought. He put him in a sleeping hold, and then he gave him an exploder suplex. Nakamura ran and gave AJ his finisher, and then AJ Styles jumped to give him that phenomenal forearm, like a running, not from the top rope, mid-run. Then AJ set the ladder up, but Nakamura got back up. They both started climbing. They both were clawing at the briefcase. And as I predicted, like before the pay-per-view started, Brian Corbin then pushes the ladder. They both get hung up on the ropes. He then quickly climbs the ladder, pulls the briefcase off. You're a Money in the Bank winner for 2017. Baron Corbin. I expected him to win. I think it is going to be good for his character. This match, if I can grade it higher than a 5, I would. This was a perfect match in my opinion. Tons of highlighted spots, tons of shocking moments. The heel ended up winning in the end. The moment of proper storytelling with Nakamura being knocked out in the beginning and then coming back and cleaning house. The additional story that they were telling between AJ Styles and Nakamura when they both decided that they weren't going to rush to the contract and they were just going to fight in the middle of the ring first because they'd rather settle it that way too. Builds to part of their character also. The match was just great. It was all around just a wonderful close to this pay-per-view. I haven't even thought of an overall grade for the pay-per-view. I would give it still a B to a B+. I wish that the Women's Championship match was a little bit better. The match that was thrown together, which is the tag match between Breezango and the Ascension, that kind of felt like filler to me. I kind of wish they had a different ending for the women's Money in the Bank ladder match because it's the first ever. I wish a woman won clean there, but maybe they have greater storytelling down the line that'll make that match appropriate for the story. So that is your pay-per-view, guys. I'm sorry I have this so long. It's 40 minutes. Jesus Christ. But I do appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much. Continue to watch all my other stuff. I'm going to have a video tagged at the end of this. I dressed up, kind of did like a Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage type kind of a thing. I went into a Wendy's and I ate like this T-Rex burger. It's like a 9-pattied cheeseburger. I went and I ate that the other day, so I'll have that video at the end of this one. So if you guys watch it, I did a lot of wrestling type like jokes in there you guys may enjoy. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and tune in next time.